Hello class. Today we're doing numerical patterns and we're looking at lesson 9.5. Okay? I'm doing even numbers. We want to analyze the patterns and relationships. So we're going to complete the rule that describes how one sequence is related to the other. Use the rule to find the unknown term. Okay? So here on number 2, first we'll go over number 1. It says multiply the number of laps by 50 to find the number of yards. Okay, so we think the number of yards is 50 times the number of laps. Okay, so here's swimmer 1. And their laps, it was 4 laps. Okay, so the question is, how did we go from 4 to 200? In this case, they multiplied by 50, which gave us 200. How did we go from 8 to 400? Multiplied by 50. 12 to 600, multiplied by 50. So then 16 times 50, we should have a score of 800. Also, we noticed that we go from 200 to 400 to 600 to 800. That's also a pattern that we recognize, okay? Also from 4 to 8 to 12 to 16, okay? That's also a pattern that we recognize. Each one increased by 4, each one increased by 200. Okay, all right, so now let's take a look at number 2. On number 2, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we skipped 5, okay? Very important that we notice that we skipped 5 and we jumped to 6. All right, well, lesson 9.5, okay? We're going to complete the rule how one sequence is related to another, okay? As we already indicated, we included a row 5 here, okay? So let's look at the difference, okay, between each row. If we look at this row here, we notice that we increased from 3 to 6, that was plus 3. From 6 to 9, that's plus 3. From 9 to 12, plus 3, and from 12 to 5, it would be plus 3, which would make it 15. And then from 15 to 18 plus 3 would give you 18. Notice they skipped a box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So anyway, we increased by plus 3 here going across. Well, what happens here? From 12 to 24 is plus 12. 36 is plus 12, 48 is plus 12, okay? And then if we had 5 boxes, it would be plus 12, and then next would be plus 12. So here we increase by plus 12, okay? So now, let's look at the difference between 3 and 12. To increase from 3 to 12, we multiply by 4, or we add 9. So let's see which one would apply. If 3 to 12 is plus 9, from 6 to 24 is not plus 9, okay? So plus 9 would not work. All right, so it's plus 9 or it's times 4. So plus 9 doesn't work. So let's multiply by 4. 3 times 4 is 12. 6 times 4 is 24. 9 times 4 is 36. 12 times 4 is 48. So we are multiplying by 4, okay? So then 18 times 4 is going to give us what? Let's see. 18 times 4. 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7. So this should be 72. So we are multiplying the number of pounds by 4 to find the total pounds. And that's how that is done, okay? So now, let's take a look at number 4. Number 4 says, multiply the number of hours by to find the amount of hours. So let's look, okay? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they jump to 7. So they skipped 5 and they skipped 6, okay? All right, so now, let's see. From here, from 8 to 16 is plus 8. 16 to 24 plus 8. 24 to 32 plus 8. So we are going to go with plus 8. Well, let's go here. From 96 to 192. What happened here? Well, let's see. Ms. Jones doesn't want to make a mistake, so we're going to do this. 96, so that's 12. This is 12. This is 8. All right, so 12 minus 6 is 6, and 18 minus 9 is 96. So he increased by 96. Well, did he increase by 96 here? Well, let's see. 192 plus 96 gives us 8. Yes, it did. So we are plus 92. Okay. 96. Long day. All right, so now, how do we change from 8 to 96? Well, to change from 8 to 96, let's see if, since we're dealing with a multiple, let's divide and see what we come up with, okay? 96 divided by 8 gives us 1. That's 8, 1, 6, and 8 into 16 is 2. Oh, yeah, that's right. 8 times 12 is 96. So it's times 12, okay? Well, let's see if that's true. 8 times 12 is 96. 16 times 12 is 192. 24 times 12 is 288, and so on and so forth. So then it is times 12, okay? So we need to find this missing number. So we take 56 times 12, okay? We have 12, that's 10, 11, that's 6, that's 5. We add it together, and we have 672, okay? And so that is our answer. Okay, now, to make one costume, Rachel uses 6 yards. So one costume, 6 yards of material and 3 yards of trim. 3 yards of trim, okay? Suppose she uses a total of 48 yards. 48 would be here. To make several costumes. How many yards of trim does she use? Okay, and write your rule. Okay, now let's take a look. If we were going this way, from 6 to 48, we would have multiplied by 8. Okay, so this would be times 8. Well, we don't know how many yards and we don't know how much trim. Okay, so then in order to find out the relationship between here and the relationship between here, we would need to find the relationship between here and the relationship between here. So we know that if we have 6 yards, we need 3 yards of trim. So what's the relationship between 6 and 3? Well, we know that 3 is half of 6, or 6 divided by 2 is 3. So then, therefore, this number should be half of this. So what's half of 48? Okay, will be 24. Okay, so now let's see how much we can make with that then. All right, the relationship between 1 and 6 is times 6. Okay, a relationship between 6 and 1 is 6 divided by 6 give us 1. Well, let's see. If we divide this by 6, we would get 8. Okay, if we multiply this by 8, we would get 48. All right, so then the relationship between here and here would be 8. Relationship between here and here would be times 8. And relationship between here and here is times 8. Interesting. So now, the question reads, how many yards of trim does she use? We estimate that she uses 24 yards of trim. All right, and how many yards of trim does she use? And what rule you use to find the number of yards of trim? Well, this rule from here to here, we divide it by 2 to find the number of yards of trim. Okay?